In this game that we're playing here, where we're trying to sort of comment on what's going on in the real world, this strange version of understanding the nonsense that's happened in recent years, I've been rather perplexed to know whether the king is actually the king. I mean, we were told some time ago that the queen never fully became the queen, and there's a lot of people who will say, that's true, that she never was there, and a lot of things have been done since then which were treasonable. Now, I don't really know. All I can report is what people keep telling me, and a lot of people out there seem to have done huge amounts of research. And so we now have the king with unusual fingers, as people say, and some people say, oh, he's been taken off and he's been cloned, and there's all of this going on. There's so much confusion out there about who's genuine, who's real, who's for the people, who isn't for the people. But we've seen in recent times that old King Charles, who seemed to be happy to be an organic farmer, had given the royal assent to all this nefarious precision breeding, which means that they can now manipulate and change the DNA of animals and plants and get that into the food chain so that we eat it. And we've got to be on our guard, which is one reason that I certainly don't go to the supermarket to buy my food now. I have to go and find a farm shop wherever I'm traveling and try not to eat from fast food outlets, because you never know what the food is. I mean, if it's cheap meat, what process has that been going through? But anyway, put that aside. King Charles has given that the royal assent. Well, it seems now there is a move in the House of Lords, it seems, to de-establish the Church of England. Here it is. Have a look at this. This is a parliamentary bill that's going through at the moment. It's just started its journey. To the de-establishment of the Church of England. It's a private member's bill. Now, whether it gets anywhere, I don't know, but I thought it's worth having a go at looking at it. And I tell you what, it's very brief. Here is the long, it says here, details, long title, and the long title is A Bill to establish the Church of England to make provision for the protection of freedom of religion or belief, and for connected purposes. Well, what does that mean? Connected purposes. I mean, it's one thing. Oh, by the way, this is sponsored by somebody called Lord Scriven. There's a name to be reckoned with, isn't it? Scriven. And as you can tell, it's only had its first reading, and it's got all these other things to go through. So it was launched on the 29th of May 2024 at 12:13. So there we go. So there's a defender of the faith. Isn't that what the kings of England and the queens of England were supposed to be there? And the faith has been, a Christian faith, that we were brought up with our own traditions, our customs, that for hundreds of years. Now, I know what some people will say, but our history is all upside down. It's all been written by the wrong people. It may not be true. I've had the lovely John Hamer on the show, who was telling us that so much of history is different. And Guy Anderson was on and telling us about the Tartarian history and all of that. And there's a lot to take in. But if we just go along with the established history that we have, let's just hold on to something, even if that may be wrong and it's been written by the victor and it's his story, all of that. Even so, if that's their narrative, now all of a sudden the king is going, that whole tradition, that custom, having kings and queens who were defending of the faith on the Christian side, whether that was at one time Roman Catholic and then it became Protestant, and then there was a sort of bit of a shenanigans and we had all the burnings and the martyrs and all of that, the heretics. And now all of a sudden it's like, no, we don't have any kind of basic religion in this country. We have no creed to live by. We have these wishy-washy terms, and people can be this and they can be that. They can be whatever gender they so wish, and all of this, which is all just mad. It's kind of it's destabling, isn't it? It's destabling some things that you thought, hang on, a table to be solid needs 4 legs. And slowly we've seen this table, firstly, bits of one leg coming out, so it was wonky. Now they're taking off the whole legs, certain things. Christmas is no longer Christmas. It's a winter festival. And how are you supposed to sort that out? And now, so that's a leg, a leg of who we are, what we are. We've seen the borders, and so people go, "Oh, you can't be you can't be nationalistic, you can't be patriotic for your country." And then you've got Rishi Sunak saying, "Oh, we'll fight them on the beaches and the landing grounds in Ukraine or the Middle East or wherever it is that he wants to have the national service and then start the war with Russia and all of that." Well, who's going to fight that? Who's going to fight it? You've got no national pride. You've got no sense of who you are. You've got no sense of a people, a body. What are you fighting for? A crumbling land in which anybody who's anybody can come along on a rubber boat and get a nice 4-star hotel, doctors, nurses, whatever you damn well like, and you don't even have to take the injection, and you're being paid to be there and everything. And yet those people who've actually fought in the armies are cast aside on the streets. Those people who've paid into the system are being targeted by the enforcement agents and all of this to get them out the house. I mean, the world is upside down. And here, another thing to just get us to be worried and get us to get angry and to rise up and go, this is wrong, isn't it? Taking it now, you may not necessarily be a Christian. You may not be a God-fearing person. You may not believe in any of that. You may be of another religion. But this was, and still is at the moment, although rocky as it is, with these beautiful old rural churches and some nice town churches and even the odd cathedral that is reasonable and worth going in, a Christian country. And if you took the sort of the doctrine out of it, if you take away all the sort of old-fashioned adherence to the priests and all of that, if you just take simple things like the do no harm, be nice to one another, the sort of essence of what Christianity was about, and now you're going to take that. So what? We can have dictating governments and say, well, we don't believe in all those ethics, we don't believe in morals, we don't believe in it, it's just a free-for-all. You can have other religions in which you can marry people underage, you can have sex or manipulate or mutilate parts of their sexual organs. That's all fine now because any religion goes. So it means, you could set up your own religion. I could have my own religion, the religion of the Vobe. You can all sort of, bow down and pray, put your hands together. Now, I'm not asking you to do that, for goodness sake, please don't. I don't want to be any kind of leader or cult figure in any shape or form, thanks very much. That way, it's doom. We've got to get ourselves together and stand in our own right, in our own sovereignty, be our own individual people, but as an individual people, come together and try and have a happy life. That's what I think. But there you go. This is going through, God knows whether, God knows, see the slip of the tongue there? God knows whether it's actually going to pass or make any difference, but you can just see the loathing that some of these people, some of these so-called elites, the people who really shouldn't be operating this country, have for our history, our traditions and our customs. And that is one of the reasons why I'm not even going to bother this time round to vote. I'm not giving my jurisdiction, even though there may be, as some people think, with Farage, there may be hope with the Reform Party. It's interesting there, isn't it, that Farage sort of got to a point where if he'd stayed in the party, I think he would have had a lot more respect. But then he got his second in command, Richard Tice, to go ahead and sort of just hold the party going, and then at the last minute he stepped in to take all the praise. I don't buy any of that personally. I'm not going to get into the voting game, give my jurisdiction. I think the old system is dead, and one of the reasons is you've got people like this Lord Scriven, who's there meanly taking away some of the legs of the table that was holding us together, such as the Disestablishment of the church. These old rural churches have been in the centre of villages and towns for 1,000 years. 1,000 years they've been there. People who were christened there, they were married there, they were buried there, had their funerals and stuff, and the gravestones are there. You can see and you can visit relatives. The rolls of the people and the information of the parishes were all there. It's all part of that that whole thing. Our history is so seeped in those buildings, which was connected to this religion, whether you're religious or not. And I'm not. I don't believe in all of that, and I don't believe in the frightening and the fear, the God-fearing stuff that they used to do. I don't believe in that. But it's an integral part of our past. What does it matter if we remain a Christian country, which on the whole, is for good? We can change and get rid of some of the bad things that we may have seen, like some of the priests that were kiddie fiddling and stuff that we've seen in the past, all of that sort of nonsense. We can sanitize it and make it much more wholesome and more family operated, and utilize those buildings, the churches, for all sorts of things. And whilst I'm happy for anybody to have any kind of belief however they want, of course, as a land, to have something in the sand to say, this is who we are, this is what we stand for. We're not wishy-washy and anybody can have any old bits and bobs as a national, where's your national pride? That's my feeling. But within that, of course, you can go, well, I'm an atheist, or I'm an agnostic. I don't believe in this and I don't believe in that, or I follow this faith, or I feel the force. Use the force, Luke. It can be one of those who believes in the Star Wars stuff. I mean, believe whatever you like, but it's nice to have some basics that when people visit, when people are born into this country, they have something that can hold this country together. That's my thought. You may disagree, and of course you're very welcome to disagree. Disagree all you like. Now, before I go, I just want to remind you, this weekend coming, if you are one of those people who perhaps work under pressure, huge amounts of pressure from the mainstream media, from your friends, your neighbours, from people who were pushing this, maybe your employer, and you took a certain, let's say, medical intervention that was maybe not what you wanted, but you had to do it. And now, as you're looking around and seeing there's a lot of problems with this so-called thing that was supposed to save us from another thing that was never really there, that we were scared stiff about. If you've had one of those and you're getting slightly concerned, what in the hell am I going to do? I've seen other people being disabled. I've seen people collapsing in the street. I've seen the amount of ambulances rushing to hospital. Everyone is being touched by this dreadful, awful, nasty thing that was, I'm trying to think of a good and safe word that I can use on YouTube, which won't get me. My dear friend, by the way, Chris Brooks, doing just what I'm doing here, trying to get the truth out, trying to share ideas, unfortunately, sadly, has been demonetized on the YouTube channel for not doing anything bad, but because it went against the grain that somebody else feels, it's not our company policy. So do go over to LSB Films, Chris Brooks. He's got a donation, and if you've watched any of his films and you think that he was doing good, do support him. I think it's we've got to all these people who are shouting out or talking or trying to just to get you to open your mind, not necessarily saying you must believe what we say, but just listen, just open your mind, think about it. Is it possible? And when the powers that be try to censor us, it can be the difference between managing to make a living and having to starve, and he's got a family. So anyway, go over there. I'll leave the link in the description. Meanwhile, this weekend, if you've had that medical intervention, you're feeling a bit rough and you're feeling, oh my goodness, what can I do? You need to detox. And down near Swindon, there is the Detox Fair. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. So are you vaccinated? Are you feeling unwell? Do you want to attend the Detox Fair for free? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, these are the lovely people at the from the Better Way Conference, the World Council for Health, the lovely people. Claim your free ticket. Email your name and order confirmation to events@betterwayevents.org, and you can scan on this thing. I'll put this graphic on my community channel, so that a community tab, I think it is. You can get that, or just simply visit betterwayevents.org, and you can come to the show for free, it seems. So there we are. I'll be there. There's a whole host of other people there. It's going to be fantastic. There's 2 days, We're going to get rid of all the chemtrails. We're going to be using mind power. We'll be using special crystals and copper tubes. We'll be blasting it. We'll have wonderful weather. There'll even be John from Dora's Dairy will be there selling his raw milk ice cream. Ha! Now that is how you detox. I can tell you, we've had it. It's delicious. And we're going to go down and milk some of his cows again, the lovely Julia and I. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Apologies for being a little bit unshaven this morning. We've been straight back from Blackpool, where we were working with the lovely Katie Hopkins on stage in Blackpool. Barely any sleep. Haven't had a chance to shave. Needed to get the video out. You know, it's all about getting stuff done. Anyway, take care. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.